The Torah tells us, 7 days shall you eat matzah. And just like that, 7 days of eating matzah have come and almost gone. Summer is around the corner, and so we anticipate. Some are counting the days to a long-delayed trip to a far-away place. We're counting the days until that baby is born or that young adult of yours gets married. Me, I'm counting the days until stone fruit season, when I will seek out these sweetest, juiciest apricots and peaches. I will eat fresh blueberries every day as long as they are in season. In Judaism, counting days is a holy endeavor, but not as I just described. Sure, it's going to be wonderful when peach season rolls around, but Judaism contains practices that teach us to number our days, to realize that the act of being born is such an unexpected gift. Even in a congregation like ours, with multiple members living well into their hundreds, none of us knows how many days we will get, and none of us knows when our last day will be. So although it is delightful to anticipate something exciting coming up in the future, daily Jewish practice challenges us to live in each day and to see every day as its own gift. One Jewish practice I had never heard of in my Reform upbringing is the practice of counting the Omer. Do we have any Omer counters? I knew. I was just looking right over at Anita. And if you're an Omer counter, that is great. If this is not a familiar practice to you, let's unpack it. As with so many Jewish traditions, it starts in the Torah, which says, "And from that day on which you bring the offering, the day after Sabbath, you shall count 7 weeks. They must be complete. You must count until after the 7th week, 50 days. Then you shall bring an offering of new grain to the Most Holy." And that's from Leviticus. That's what the Torah tells us. Later, the rabbis decided that the Sabbath actually means Passover. In the Torah, the 50 days of counting falls between 2 harvests. So you see, Torah is a deeply agriculturally based expression of our faith. In Torah times, everyone was a farmer. The Omer of the Torah focuses on counting the 50 days from one harvest to the next as a practice of expressing gratitude to the Creator of all life for the food we have to enjoy. Only later did it become the custom in traditional homes to begin counting the Omer at the second Seder. And that was last Saturday night. So stop and think for a moment. Do you remember how you spent last Sunday a week ago? That was the first of 50 days of counting. And how about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and here we are. It is traditional to count the Omer as the night falls. So today has been the 6th day of the Omer. How do we account for these past 6 days of our life? When we're very young, time moves slow, too slow. Everything takes so long. A school day is interminable. The Seder can last forever. And maybe not for all, but for many of us, the older we get, the faster time goes by. A work week just disappears into oblivion. It can be hard to account for that time. Seasons also move more rapidly, especially spring and summer. For some, in old age, it all slows down again. Whatever our age, Judaism gives us this tool to take a 50-day period to stop and count each day as we're living in it, and to account for how we are living our lives and the choices we're making right now. Think of it as, like going off sugar for a month. It's a practice. It might actually be easier than going off sugar for a month. Each night when you sit down to dinner or after the sun sets or just before you go to bed, take a moment and think about where you are in this 50-day period that will end with the festival of Shavuot, the receiving of the Torah holiday, which will happen on June the 5th. You can do it old school and say the Al Sfirat HaOmer blessing, as we're all going to do in just a moment. And then there's a fancy way to count the 6 days, and then it starts including the number of weeks we counted. The traditional approach is meditative and beautiful and very easy to Google and follow. Or you can try the newfangled ways. You can download a Counting the Omer app. You could add each day of the Omer as a banner on your device calendar, your phone calendar from now to June 5th. Fans of the TV show, anyone like The Simpsons, the TV show? Very funny show, that's right. You Google Counting the Homer. I was going to ask you if you got that, but you got it. Counting the Homer. And it tells you night by night how to count in accordance, exactly how to do it with just a click, with this age-old mindfulness discipline. In one of my favorite novels, The Sense of an Ending, Julian Barnes, this was written by Julian Barnes, the protagonist, a man in his 60s, reflects back on his life so far. But time, he thinks. He thinks about how time first grounds us and then confounds us. We thought we were being mature when we were only being safe. We imagined we were being responsible, but we were being cowardly. What we called realism turned out to be a way of avoiding things rather than facing them. Time gives us enough time, and our best supported decisions will seem wobbly or our certainties whimsical. His words should give us pause as we contemplate these 43 as yet unlived days still ahead of us in this Omer practice. Judaism, with its cyclical nature, Omer counting, life moment red letter days, like a bat mitzvah tomorrow, is a veritable toolbox of practices for living in time and for seizing the time we have, whatever it is. It's great to look forward to upcoming getaways, life cycle events, or summer fruit. But this day, it's still light outside. It's still full of promise. One of the psalmists said, "The span of our life is 70 years and 10, or given strength 80 years. But the best of those years have trouble and sorrow. They pass by speedily, and we are in darkness. Teach us, therefore, to number our days, that we may attain a heart of wisdom." And that's what we want. Not to squander, not to sleep through it, or take for granted, but just to number our days, each precious day, that we may attain a heart of wisdom. So I'd like to invite you to join with me. This is straight off the Counting the Homer website. And the blessing is the Baruch Atah that you know, and it ends Al Sfirat HaOmer, Al Sfirat HaOmer. So we say together, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al Sfirat HaOmer, hayom shiv'a yamim shehem shavua echad la'omer. Today is the seventh day, making 1 week of the Omer. For those who celebrated eighth day of Passover, starts tonight.